to Amin Saikal. He's a Professor Emeritus of Middle Eastern Studies at the Australian National University and is joining us live from Canberra in Australia. Thank you so much for coming on. How important is the response from Western countries, would you say, to this significant development overnight?
Well, I think the United States so far has remained quite silent about it, and it is very clear that the United States has sided with Israel on the operations in Gaza and Israel's assassination of leaders of Gaza. And Ismail Haniyeh was one of those important leaders, and I think now he has been assassinated. But of course, the main person, that is Yahya Sinwar, who's leading the military operations in Gaza. He's still alive, or at least Israelis have not really announced that he's been killed. And also, the other person that Israelis would like to eliminate is Mohammed Taif, and then, of course, there is no sign of him so far either.
Okay, so we will keep across that. Hamas have responded saying that this is a grave escalation, which will not go unpunished. How concerned do you think Israel will be about a response from Iran and Hamas to this?
But I think Hamas is not really in a position to respond very effectively, but certainly it is a big embarrassment for the Iranian government, which has not been able to protect Ismail Haniyeh. And also it really shows that Israel can reach any targets that it really wants right in the heart of Iran. And of course, now the Iranians will have to reconsider their position, and they may want to really respond to this because they want to show to the Iranian public and indeed to the region and the world that they have the capability to respond to such an Israeli targeting of people right in the heart of the Iranian capital.
And Amin, I mean, how strong is the concern, do you think, internationally about the prospect of now an all-out war in the Middle East?
I think this basically causes further escalation in the conflict, and together with the assassination of Hezbollah commander in the last 24 hours, and now Ismail Haniyeh, this is just simply adds to the tensions between Hezbollah and Israel, as well as between Iran and Israel. The new Iranian president Masoud Pezeshkian has made it very clear that he will stand by the Palestinian cause and continue the Iran support of the Palestinian cause. And also he has made it very clear that Hezbollah is a very critical element in Iran's regional security complex, and therefore will stand by supporting Hezbollah in any confrontation or wider confrontation with Israel. So I think the situation is becoming more and more explosive. I mean, from the Israeli point of view, yes, they are, or Prime Minister Netanyahu's personal point of view, that he wants to prosecute the war to the point of finishing off Hamas. But at the same time, these sort of assassinations are not really going to help bringing about either an end to the Gaza crisis, or for that lowering the tensions in the region, which could easily explode into a much bigger war that nobody may be able to control it at the end.
And Amin, how much of a problem do you think this latest escalation will be for the ceasefire talks? I mean, we know that there hadn't been any significant progress for a while on that, but do you think this could really bring them to a halt completely?
I don't think that Prime Minister Netanyahu has ever been really in favor of ceasefire. I think he is absolutely determined to do whatever it really takes to make Gaza unlivable, and therefore establish Israeli full control over the Gaza territory. And I think for that matter, I can just see that Prime Minister Netanyahu basically dragging his feet as far as the current negotiations concerned, and that may not really produce a desirable result. I mean, of course, he probably will send a delegation for negotiations, and he said he's doing that. But then again, Prime Minister Netanyahu has always been double talk. On the one hand, he talks of peace. On the other hand, he's always made sure that the peace process is scaffolded through the kind of military operations that Israel has pursued.
And Amin, we're just hearing an update from the Turkish Foreign Ministry condemning what they say the heinous assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. Do you think that it's important for the international community to form some coordinated action or a coordinated response to this latest escalation?
I think they have to really form a coordinated pressure on Israel to first reach the peace ceasefire in Gaza. As long as there's no ceasefire, exchange of hostages and Palestinian prisoners, this conflict can go on for some time. And there is always a danger of this conflict escalating into a regional inferno. And as I said earlier, that at the end, nobody may come out of it very successful, and nobody may be able to control it to the extent which is necessary to bring it to an end.
And the Turkish Foreign Ministry is also saying that the assassination is aiming to spread the war in Gaza to a regional level. Do you think that's a real possibility?
I think there is a real possibility, and there's always been there's been a risk of that all along. And of course, Turkey has not recognized Hamas as a terrorist organization, and President Erdogan has declared his full support for the Palestinian cause and for the Hamas. And I think, for that matter, there's always a possibility of even Turkey becoming more involved in this conflict than perhaps could have been anticipated in the past.
Okay, Amin Saikal, live from Canberra there. Thank you so much for your analysis today.